ancestor altars, how to take care of your altar, how to set up your altar, where to place your altar, and also what's the use of your altar, and how you can use it to connect to the spiritual realm. So if you are interested in finding out more information on these things, then stay tuned. Make sure that you do not place your altar in your bedroom. You want to have it somewhere that's in your living room, somewhere that your family spends a lot of time, somewhere that you can include the elders and the ancestors in your daily practices when you're sitting on the couch and things like that. So I have my altar in my living room. That's just my personal preference. But it is advised that you have your altar anywhere other than your bedroom. Like I said, you want to make sure you keep it clean. You want to make sure that the food on your altar is you want to make sure the food on your altar is not moldy. You want to make sure that you remove it. Give it back to the earth. If you have a pet, give it to your pet. But make sure that your food is not molding on the altar. You also want to make sure that that you keep the cloth clean. You can take the cloth off and make sure that you wash it. Just keep it a clean space and make sure it's a place that you want your ancestors to feel welcome. Okay. This is building an ancestor altar is the first step in a spiritual journey, doing anything with the spiritual realm, doing anything with communicating with spirits of the dead and things like that, because you want to make sure you have your spiritual team, which is your ancestors. You want to make sure that you have them for protection and things like that. So it is very, 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 very important to make sure that you're having this connection with your ancestors before you go and work with other entities and deities and things like that. Okay. Your altar is a sacred space. Your altar is a place that you connect with your deceased loved ones. You burn ancestor money. You give offerings. You connect with your loved ones that have gone and passed, and you're able to speak with them. You're able to ask them for guidance. You're able to have them to share your space with you, answer questions. You're able to have them in your space as if they were still on this earthly plane with you, missing the physical aspect of it. Okay. You want to make sure that you're separating your ancestor altar away from your deity altars and things like that. Keep those two energies separate. It's just a respect type of thing. You want to make sure that when you have an altar for your ancestors, it's just for your ancestors, and when you have an altar for deities and things like that, and your gods and goddesses, you want to make sure that you have that separate, and that you have those two things with two separate altars, so you're able to give respect and be respectful of the space and the energy that you're creating. Okay, so like I said, common uses for your altar is for you to speak to, receive guidance, write petitions, and gain support from the spiritual realm. Okay, so you want to reap blessings. You want to reach out to your ancestors. You're like, why are my ancestors not connecting with me? Why are my ancestors not reaching out to me if they're not talking to me and things like that? You have to make sure that you're building the step and making sure that you're building the bridge that it's letting your ancestors come and be there with you. You have to make sure that you're taking the necessary steps that those things can happen. Okay. There's a couple things that you want to make sure that you put on your altar. Okay, so some of the basics for your altar would be pictures of your relatives. If you do not have pictures of your relatives, you can write their names down, you can write their birth date down, and things of the such. If you're not sure about your ancestry, try to ask your family members. Sometimes it's hard to find out ancestry. Some people are adopted and things of the such. I haven't taken an ancestry DNA type of thing yet, or things like that. But see if there are different ways for you to find out your history, find out your background, find out about your ancestors. There's ways for you to call out to your ancestors as well if you don't know them. Just know that they know you. So when you do call out to them and you're doing your offerings and you're doing your ancestor altar, they will respond. Definitely know that. Okay. The next thing that you want to have on your altar is a glass of water. That is one of the four elements of the earth. You want to make sure that you always have a glass of water. You want to make sure that you always have an incense. It doesn't matter what type of incense. Okay. Wine break. It doesn't matter what type of incense that you're burning and things like that. Just make sure you have an incense because you want the element of air. Okay. Another thing that you can make sure that you have is a white cloth. It's very essential to make sure that you have a white cloth. Sometimes you may not be able to find a white one. For other altars and deity altars, the color of the cloth is very important. For your ancestor altar, it's a white cloth. You know, if you're not able to find a white one, try to find a new one. If you're not able to find a new one, just work with what you have, but try to be able to get a white cloth. And sometimes you can even use a pillowcase. So it's just all to what you have, okay? The next thing that a lot of people have on their altar are bells, okay? When you're calling into spirit, a lot of times people will knock on a surface 3 times, or they'll ring their bell 3 times to call out to spirit or call out to their ancestors, okay? Tobacco. A lot of spirits like tobacco. A lot of spirits, you know, or your ancestors have vices. Some of your ancestors may have smoked cigarettes. Some of your ancestors may have drunk rum. Some of your ancestors, you know, may have smoked cigarettes. So I always leave an offering of tobacco. Sometimes you can leave a whole cigar. Sometimes you can smoke a cigar for your ancestors and things like that. Sometimes you can even, if you smoke, you can leave the inside of your gar or your roll up and have that on a piece of paper for your tobacco offering, okay? You can leave candy. Some, you know, leave something that your ancestors liked when they were here. Like I have an ancestor who liked pink and red Starburst, you know? So, you know, leave something out for your ancestors. If you go to get a snack or something, go put something out on the ancestor altar, you know? Just look out for your ancestors like you want them to look out for you. Just make sure that that food is not molding. That is so important. You know, you don't want to be disrespectful. You don't want to send out a mold dead energy, okay? You don't want that type of stagnant energy. The next thing I want to talk about, since we're talking about candy and food and things like that, you can leave food offerings. When I cook dinner, when I cook breakfast and things like that, I leave something out for my ancestors. If you make a cup of coffee, make an extra cup of coffee and go sit it on the altar. Okay, and food also works differently on altars. It does not mold as fast. If you want to see what I mean, make your ancestor altar and put an apple up there and see how long it takes to get bad, and you'll understand where I'm coming from, okay? That's the best way I can tell you, because a lot of things I wouldn't be able to tell you. I just have to show you for yourself. So if you want to see what I'm talking about the difference in time and how the food doesn't mold the same as if it was off of an altar, put an apple on your altar and leave it and see how long it takes to mold. It's not the same amount of time if it wasn't sitting on that altar, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about, oh, maybe we should have a little bit more into food offerings. Don't salt your food, okay? If you're giving a food offering, don't salt it. It makes it hard for your ancestors to be able to take the energy from that offering, so don't salt it, okay? If you put salt in your food and you're cooking it, okay, but don't go and put salt over top of your food. Try to season it, don't do that, okay? Another thing is, try not to cook spicy foods, but a lot of times what I eat, my ancestors eat, so like I said, that's just my preference. Another thing that you want to make sure that you have on your altar is an aspect of earth. Like I told you guys before, you want to make sure that you have an earth, wind, or air, a fire, and a water aspect on your altar, okay? So like I said, crystals or flowers are usually my go-to for my earth aspect of the 4 elements. I usually have flowers on my altar 24/7, okay? I love flowers. I always have flowers for my female ancestors, and I also have crystals. I got into crystals a little bit later than I did having flowers on my altar, but now I have both of them. You know, it's either or. You don't have to be so specific. You know, if you have flowers near you, you can even use the flowers in front of your yard or anything like that. So that's that on the earth element, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is fire, okay? I usually have a white candle. I usually have a pillar candle. Sometimes I'll use a freestanding candle or a taper candle and things like that. But as of lately, I've been getting into taper candles because Spirit has been sending messages to me through taper candles, and they're very clear. So, and that is a practice called Seromancy, which we'll be getting to that later, okay? But I keep a white candle on my altar to communicate with my ancestors, and that is my fire element, okay? Like I told you guys, you can find those white candles anywhere. You can find them in the grocery store, you can find them in Target, you can find them in Walmart, you can find them everywhere, okay? The dollar store, everywhere. Like I said, coffee and rum. A lot of spirits like rum. Rum is an excellent offering. A lot of times, anytime I go to the liquor store and I go get another bottle for me, I will make sure that the first shot that I pour out, I put on my altar, okay? And you'll also notice that the liquid in the glass will evaporate. very quickly, okay? Very quickly. Another thing that you can put on your altar is ancestor money. If you have not seen my video on ancestor money, I will link it in the description below, so make sure you check out ancestor money. And if you're wanting where to get ancestor money, you can get it on my Shopify. Ancestor money is a form of hell no, it's a form of heaven money. It's a form of currency, spiritual currency that goes to the Jade Bank, the Jade Emperor, and it's basically you know, removing karmic debts, removing generational curses, removing generational blockages, you know. Everything costs in the spiritual world. Nothing is free. So when you're burning that ancestor money, you're giving an offering and you're making a way for things to basically, you're making a way for things to shake, okay? So that is my guide to making your ancestor altar. If you guys have any questions, you guys can email me. My email is in the description below. Thank you guys so much. Bear with me for this week. I feel like I'm kind of coming down with the cold. I don't know what's going on. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate you more than you know. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you guys leave a comment down below. Like this video. And I love you guys so much. Make sure that you're manifesting your biggest desires. And until the next time, peace.